Terry, you should go. Okay, I'd like to call the Saline City Council meeting to order. If you'd please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much for those of you who are in attendance this evening, and I apologize for my casual attire, but we, Councilmember Seo and I, were continuing to entertain our guests from Lindenberg, Germany, who are here for their second week of tours and excursions throughout the region. We encourage you, those of you who are in the audience this evening, to sign in the back. There's also listening devices on the back table, along with copies of our agenda. Members present this evening are Council Members Gearboss, Seo, Rice, Lesh. Lesh will be absent from this evening. Harmount, Mayor Pro Tem Dillon, and Mayor Morrow. From City staff, we have the Acting City Manager, the City Clerk, the Engineer, and the City Attorney. At this time, the Chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as submitted unless there are amendments.
Moved as submitted.
Moved by Seo to approve as submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Dillon. All those in favor of approving the agenda as submitted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously. Is there a motion now to excuse the absence of our colleague Chuck Lesh?
So moved.
Moved by Gearboss to excuse the absence. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Seo. All those in favor of excusing the absence of Councilmember Lesh signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously. We come now to public comments on agenda items. Under the Open Meetings Act, any person may come forward at this time and make comment or question on an item that appears on this agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Anyone who would like to speak is requested, but of course not required to state their name and address for the record. Are there any citizen comments on agenda items this evening? And again, please state the agenda item to which you are speaking to.
Hello, good evening. If possible, I would like to speak to an agenda on the consent agenda, the minutes from last meeting and the special meeting on May 21st in regards to the hiring of a city manager. Earlier today, I sent out an email to each one of you individually in regards to some comments that were drafted by Joanne Dentz, and we got 21 names on that letter. I would just like to read it into public comment for you real quick. As you prepare to enter a closed session, possibly regarding a city manager position, we, the undersigned, urge you to revise the current course of action and include Ms. L. Cole in another round of final interviews alongside 1 or 2 other candidates. The council is aware that downtown business and property owners came together to share their perspective, and there was a clear and growing consensus that Saline needs a leader with emotional intelligence, strong communication skills, and a genuine commitment to the community connection, traits Ms. Cole has consistently demonstrated in her role as acting city manager. Her leadership has been visible, approachable, and responsive. These are soft skill qualities which have been proven over and over again to distinguish excellent and outstanding candidates from good and competent candidates across major fields of work. They are also exactly what our divided community needs to begin healing and moving forward. They are critical leadership competencies, especially for someone managing multiple departments and diverse stakeholders. These skills have enabled Ms. Cole to navigate conflict, build consensus, and communicate a shared vision, qualities that are essential to moving our city in a positive and unified direction. She has recognized the importance of addressing both easy and difficult matters with council, city staff, and across the community, meeting with HOA heads, business and property owners, and concerned citizens. While we respect the process that has taken place so far, it is important to acknowledge that among the 4 candidates interviewed, 2 appeared to lack the necessary experience or alignment with the unique needs of our city at this time. The remaining 2, though they have prior city manager experience, did not demonstrate anything that meaningfully sets them apart from Ms. Cole, who has already understands Saline, has earned the trust of city stakeholders, and has shown a deep, active investment in the city's future. In a short period of time, Ms. Cole has created momentum and excitement on several fronts. One notable example is her leadership in advancing the vision for a public square, something the city has long desired but has yet to realize. Surrounding communities have successfully developed such spaces as central gathering places, and under Ms. Cole guidance, Saline is finally moving toward establishing a vibrant community hub that will bring residents together. Ms. Cole is a known entity with proven leadership, a collaborative spirit, and a demonstrated commitment to Saline's well-being. To not include her, especially when her qualifications align so clearly with the city's most urgent needs, would be a missed opportunity to make a thoughtful, community-centered decision. It is essential for the council to come together and unite behind a final decision on who will serve as the next city manager of Saline. Such unity sends an important message to the community that the city manager has the full confidence and support to be successful. To exclude her from the interview process, so many believe that she is best qualified for the important role, would be a significant oversight.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Are there additional citizen comments on agenda items this evening? And again, please cite the agenda item to which you're speaking. You'll have 3 minutes.
This is Dawn. Mine is about the same thing as what I wanted to go next. I'm here today as a member of the community to express my deep disappointment in the situation regarding the city manager position. It's been frustrating to see how our city government has treated a dedicated and valuable city servant such as Elle Cole. In her time working for the city of Saline, as both treasurer and interim city manager, Ms. Cole has demonstrated her commitment to bringing diverse groups together, creating space for all of the city residents to share their own ideas and listening to the needs of the community. Her work on budget analyses, the Pride Flag event, and moving the public green space forward are excellent examples of her efforts toward creating an effective local government. Ms. Cole illustrates the character and attributes that are desperately needed in our city administration, such as accountability, transparency, trustworthiness, and integrity. She has won the respect of the people of Saline, as we've just heard, experienced by that too, and deserves at the very least to have a fair chance for the position she is already performing with such skill and dedication.
Thank you. Any additional citizen comment? And again, this has to be limited to agenda items.
Gordon Peters, 396 Saline River Drive, and my comment is about the proposed dam.
Is that mic working?
Yep, it is. Just pull it close.
Is that better?
Yep.
In 2023, the city was awarded a grant for $192,000, added $48,000 from the city's budget, and is proposing another $32,000. And repairs in 2021 were recommended at $218,000. So we're approaching $272,000 that we spent on the dam, and we aren't any further downstream than we were before in repairs. So I think we should really consider spending money. We could put that $32,000 down as a way to start looking forward to paying for whatever repairs or whatever we need there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional citizen comments on agenda items this evening? I would defer to the city clerk. Were there any written comments provided in advance of tonight's meeting in which the individuals wanted their remarks read at this time, noting, of course, that they need to cite a specific agenda item?
Yes, sir. There's two regarding the city manager position. The first one is from Bill and Lindsay Gibson. It says, "Good afternoon. We hope you are doing well. After some reflection, we have felt it worthwhile to email again about considering Elle Cole for the role of city manager. As business owners in Saline, we've been impressed with how quickly Ms. Cole has been able to build a solid and trusting relationship with us and other business owners, which she accomplished through her frequent presence at BPO meetings, community events, and visiting downtown. She has been a reliable contact during her time as acting city manager, as she stepped into a role that many might have viewed previously as distant and difficult to connect with. Her ability to build those relationships up in such a short period of time speaks to her leadership, empathy, and commitment to the city. Those skills were either lacking or not displayed during the last round of interviews by the other participants. As a family and business that has invested both time and engagement in community space project, we see replacing Ms. Cole at this juncture as potentially jeopardizing the entire project. It was her deep involvement and planning along with Tyler Kinley that got the project to this point, and her removal could shake the confidence in funding, partnerships, and the community. There, of course, will be risk in many areas if the council decides to transition to an external candidate, but this project is the most precariously positioned at this time. Lastly, Ms. Cole deserves the respect of City Council by being given a final interview, and the residents of Saline deserve transparency in the hiring process. By allowing her to interview, internal candidates will have more confidence in their place with the city and will be able to retain better talent in the future. The residents will also have more confidence in the process. Thank you for your time and service on Saline Council." The second one is from Paul Gregosian. Yep. Okay, from Brecken Grill. It says, good evening. As a longtime small business owner and downtown property owner, it gives me great pause relating to the City of Saline city manager candidate search. Over the past 2 decades, the relationship and trust between business property owners and the City of Saline has been mediocre at best. Multiple shifts in momentum have occurred within the economic environment, as well as staff additions and shortfalls that have impacted the vibrancy of our downtown. It is disappointing that an opportunity was not offered for Elko to interview and to compete with the other candidates selected in the final process. Sometimes the best answer is what is already happening within local government. For some business property owners, Elle was a breath of fresh air. She was transparent and striving to provide the City of Saline with non-biased data and to implement corrective actions for past mistakes. Some of you were involved in this process of choosing qualified candidates for the job. It is safe to say that some of the selected candidates may be qualified to fill the position of city manager. To demonstrate fairness and respect, Elko should have been one of the final candidates for the City of Saline city manager job. What shows a sense of professionalism and commitment to the community is to show appreciation for the job Elko has done over the past 3 years. You couldn't ask for a more successful, driven individual who, during her employment with the City of Saline, showed loyalty and understanding towards the city and the success and needs of the downtown small business landscape. Would she dedicate her efforts to create a sense of community, trust, vibrancy, and stability? The answer is a resounding and definite yes. Elle has earned and deserves the opportunity to interview for the City of Saline manager position. I would like to see her interviewed for the position of city manager for the City of Saline. I'm sure you will find ample support from your small business community to do so.
Thank you. One last opportunity for citizen comments if you'd like to make one. You'll have 3 minutes, and please cite the specific agenda item that you're referencing.
Same item that people have been talking about. I just wanted to come because the project was mentioned. My name is Tyler Kinley. I've been working on the Green Space project, and I can say my experience working with Elle Cole was phenomenal. The project would not have occurred without her. I worked with numerous city council members, and I was impressed with their work as well. It felt like we worked through a lot of things as a team, and I can say wholeheartedly that my confidence is in the project, and the trust that I have with the city is definitely shaken by the fact that she wasn't given at least an opportunity to interview. Her support by the community, her support is, well, I haven't seen any support like this ever. And to not make it to the final interview, to me, speaks volumes in a way that is not positive and really damages the faith that we have in the process. And I guess I speak for a lot of people and alongside a lot of people saying that it feels fair to give her the opportunity to interview. So I appreciate you all, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for your comments. If there are no additional citizen comments this evening on agenda items, I'll note for the record you will have an opportunity to speak again at the end of the meeting about agenda items or anything that's on your mind. We appreciate those of you who made comment this evening in person and those who provided written remarks to the city clerk's office. We will proceed to the consent agenda. The following consent agenda will normally be adopted without discussion. However, at the request of any citizen or council member, any item may be removed from the consent agenda for discussion.
Move to approve as submitted.
Moved by Gearbaugh to approve as submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Seo. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, the motion carries unanimously. We move on to new business item 25-100, Saline River Dam FY 2026 as needed engineering services. This will be a motion to acknowledge receipt of the memorandum from engineer Humphreys and to approve or not to approve the contract with Spicer Group for as needed engineering services associated with the Saline River Dam in an amount not to exceed $32,000 for miscellaneous tasks, such as updating the emergency action plan and improving the remote monitoring of the site.
Move to acknowledge receipt.
Moved by Gearbaugh simply to acknowledge receipt. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Dillon. Engineer Humphreys, do you want me to begin with you, or should I first defer to the acting city manager? It's all you. Pull that microphone close. Make sure the green light is illuminated at the base.
Okay, thank you.
As included in your packet is a bunch of background information on the dam. I think everyone's aware, I've been here now for 3 years, and I think I've done a good job of putting all of the information we have on the dam on our website available for review. So as we're learning more about the dam, we're learning more things that need to be done to the dam. And for instance, one of the things that we've recently done is improve the remote monitoring at the site. With dispatch, the old emergency action plan was written for dispatch, was actually involved. Police would drive by. We've now installed an actual remote monitor at the site so that and we've transferred emergency operation of the dam from plant staff to DPW staff. So that's the emergency action plan now needs to be updated with the state of Michigan. I've included in the packet a recent DPW newsletter that talks about some just ongoing maintenance things that DPW are tackling, some embankment replacement, the hoist lever needs fixing. We need to actually apply grease and gear to the gears of the actual gates that open. So there's a list of maintenance items that need engineering assistance with it, so it helps with those. We also have to officially respond to Eagle's request. So that I included Eagle's, I don't think it's a violation letter, but their letter in the packet. That letter was issued in December, I think, of 24. We've made substantial progress on those, but we need to officially respond to that and issue a corrective action plan. So this is budgeted money for fiscal year 26. I'm just trying to get ready to hit the ground running on July 1st to get ahead of the stuff, so that's why I'm here tonight.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Gearbaugh is the mover of the motion to simply acknowledge the receipt. Would you like to begin with questions or comments?
Thank you, Mayor. Two of my questions are, one is just a concern within the language. It says any work not eligible for reimbursement or work eligible but over budget will be billed to this as needed service project number. Is there more work out there that's outside of this scope that we're currently doing? Or it seemed odd that it said that any work not eligible for reimbursement would be billed to another.
Are you referring to, I'm sorry, I didn't get this
It's
question.
just in the paragraph above the estimates for the costs.
Language, I guess is the question. So we do have the grant going on right now, as you're aware. The grant is, I think we have maybe $10,000 or so left that we're spending the remaining grant funds on additional renderings and stuff for the park, things that are actually applicable to the dam removal feasibility study grant. I assume that's what you're referring to. I guess I'd have to pull up the exact language to answer your question.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure which one, because I thought 32,000 was coming out of the existing budget or the existing grant, and then this sounds like there might be other work that's being done that can't go against the grant. So
yeah, the 32,000 is, none of it is for the grant reimbursable. Okay, so the grant, this is completely different. It's part of the budget that was requested in fiscal year 26 for the dam.
Okay, thank you. That was
Yes.
a clarification. I've had some other information given to me that wasn't. And then the other one was just to ask, where are we on the emergency repairs right now that are being done for the dam, and have those completed? I know this indicates an emergency action plan, but I'd like to know, do we need to put additional money in, or have we put in our repairs that have been delayed because of rain and everything else?
So the emergency action plan is different. You're absolutely right. The emergency action plan is a document that we have to have on file with the state of Michigan that requires, a downstream notification, for instance, when we operate the gates. What's the notification tree? It also requires tabletop exercises and full operation of the gates. So the gates, I don't know if everyone's aware, but they open 10 feet. And 10 feet operation requires, last time we opened at 10 feet, we literally had a line of DPW guys in a line, take your turn, and physically turn this for hours to get it open 10 feet. So that's the emergency action plan is for that. And now I've lost my train of thought because I started thinking about this line of guys opening up the gates.
It's the emergency repairs right now.
But the emergency repairs, yes, thank you, Dean, for getting me back on. The emergency repairs that DPW is tackling this summer include embankment repairs to the, because unfortunately, when the dam was built in 1973, it didn't have the wing walls, so we are seeing embankment failures on the concrete directly adjacent to the dam. We're going to get some fabric in there and some new stone. Those repairs are on schedule to happen in the next month as soon as it's dry enough to get up there. The other item that we are working on immediately is the hoist. So there's where the hoist is actually secured to the top of the dam, there is a crack. And so to secure that hoist, we're putting another metal plate on it. That's another short-term kind of Band-Aid that we're putting on it until we can actually install a cofferdam and fix those. And that's when the expenses go up. As soon as we install a cofferdam, we're $300,000 in. So then just to get the cofferdam installed, and we're now finding that there's all these other repairs that are needed to the dam that are requiring. So if we're going to put the cofferdam in, we should do it one time, spend the $300,000, and then spend the other $600,000 on the repair. So we're looking at $1 million job once to do any of these bigger than, and these require permits from the state of Michigan. So what we're doing now in-house are Band-Aids to prevent it from catastrophe.
Right, and I just want to make sure that those Band-Aids don't require any additional engineering or any other expenses that we would need to allocate funds to at this time.
That's exactly what this is for, because we do need help with, like, for instance, Spicer's structural guy had to specify the thick of the metal plate and the thick of the anchors. I don't know how to do that.
No, that's fine. So this is part of that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's really where I wanted to drive this. So thank you very much.
Additional questions for the city engineer? Councilmember Rice, and then I'll jump to Councilmember Dillon.
So to address our public comment earlier, as far as this money is being spent to fix things that we know currently need fixed and to, do some engineering studies for things that we know we are fixing no matter what the outcome of our decision way later down the road is, correct? So
Yes, this is money that is budgeted for us just being owners of the dam. We need to spend this money. That's how I view this money. That's why we put it in the budget for next year. There are things that we should do. We're learning that we should do. Yes, the city, as did many dam owners. I don't think the city of Saline is unique in this situation, but dams, there were lots of dams put in. There was a time when it was thought it was a good idea to put concrete in the middle of a flowing river, right? So lots of dams were put in, and municipalities didn't think about them. We did we're required to do an inspection every 3 years. We did an inspection in 04, 11, and 2020. And now since 2020, we've been on track and we're doing a good job. And this is, again, we're no different than other dam owners. But now we're actually realizing the magnitude of owning the dam, and this $32,000 is just a drop in the bucket of owning the dam.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon.
Thank you. So following up on that, of the $32,000, it looks like the hoist mount repair is the actual only repair. Everything else is more engineering informational, correct?
As far as the scope of work that was outlined in Spicer's, yes. One of the big things that we're working towards is the return on investment that we promised council at the March 17th meeting. We said we'd come back October 6th with return on investment. That will require different opinions of cost and such. So that's one of the items that's included in this. But the immediate repairs are the hoist and the embankment repairs that DPW is immediately helping with. The Spicer's helping with specific small assistance with those.
Okay. And I apologize if the embankment, when you're saying that, are you talking about the ground that has eroded, or is that the cement?
The actual ground that has eroded.
So that has not been fixed as of yet?
The embankment repairs right now, no, we have not gotten the fabric or the stone back in. No, it has not been dry enough. We have to get a large truck up there. We need dry conditions.
Okay. I guess I misunderstood because I thought it was urgent that was repaired before we had any additional rainfall. And so there's no workaround of putting something down so the truck can go over the land to do that. I mean, what I don't want to see is that condition get worse, or it caused the dam to fail because it's eroded so much.
You're absolutely right in the fact that every time it rains, it's going to worsen it a little bit. So the more rainstorms we get, the more maintenance is going to be needed. So that's absolutely true.
So do we have any idea when that work is going to be completed at this point?
That's not, I apologize, I do not, and DPW director is not here. I'd had this question before, and I'm sure I could have answered it for you.
Can you follow up with him and relay the information to the acting city manager, and she can disseminate it Friday as part of her weekly communique?
Okay, and just one other question, just because we have the mill race investigation, I just want to confirm, because we received an email from Wellers saying that they're open for people to go in. Is that a piece that we're waiting on, or was that a part of the investigation that wasn't done?
Wellers access is a portion of it, so the mill race starts on Mill Pond property. It's the gated structure that you see on the westernmost thing, right when you're first, coming from the west. We need to get a Vector truck up there and get all the sediment out of it. There's a lot of sediment in the bottom of the mill race. I'll be honest with you, I have some as-built from 1930. I don't know how deep that mill race goes. And a big component of how deep that mill race is depends on if the dam were to be removed and we could keep the tail race in service or not. So we really need to get access from the park side and under US 12, because the other big component of the mill race is there's a structure that was built in 1935 that we, the city, own under US 12. MDOT's not taking that over. Road people do not say, oh, sure, we want to own your culverts that are failing under our roads. They make us, we are responsible for those. So we really need to inspect it all the way from Mill Pond across, and we don't have access from the Mill Pond side yet. So that's a component of it also. So it's not just getting to it from the Wellers side. And Wellers has been accommodating. We did go in and we got to see, I mean, it was really cool to see them lift the floor, and you could see right down to where the old water wheel was. I mean, absolutely, that's so cool. I mean, that's the true historic cool building of the site is the Wellers site, clearly, obviously. Super cool.
And then one just last question. Last I noticed, there's a gigantic tree limb sitting on the dam.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've had others that.
Trying to get that down without hurting staff. Yeah, we're working on that.
Right, that's what
It's huge.
yes. I'm concerned that if it were to fall, I know we've heard stories about it damaging the dam, so in other communities.
Downstream of the dam? Or?
I don't know, we had one of our candidates, when we were touring the dam, had made a comment that when that log, a similar situation in his community fell, it damaged their structure.
It damaged one of the floodgates, not the.
And what I'm learning about dams is that no two dams are the same. Right? So because one community has a dam going on, and the other. I mean, I didn't know a lot about dams. I've learned a lot about dams last year, and there's no doubt about no two dams are the same. That's for sure. So,
thank you very much.
Any additional questions for the city engineer? We have a motion on the floor. I'm sorry.
Question.
Go ahead.
I noticed the log as well, and I did want to know, just along that, if we could get the follow-up of what the countermeasure is to prevent that from happening moving forward. If there's a way to minimize those logs from getting to that point.
I think the ultimate answer to that would be upstream river mitigation and cleanup. I mean, that's really what's happening is during flood events, those logs are getting washed downstream. I know the last one that was in there, I mean, DPW had to go in with a chainsaw and take it. So those type, but this one is exceptionally large.
Yeah.
If there are no additional questions, there's a motion on the floor moved by Gearboss, seconded by Dillon, simply to acknowledge receipt. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously.
Move to approve.
Moved by Gearboss to approve, and that was seconded by CO.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Engineer Humphris or Acting City Manager Cole, any additional remarks before we proceed to vote? No? I think Tesha's good. Any additional discussion from the dais? All those in favor of the motion to approve say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Ayes have it, the motion carries unanimously. We come to the discussion portion of our agenda, reports and other announcements, including updates from commissions, committees, and task forces. I will start with Councilmember CO and end with Councilmember Harmont, and then I'll go last if I have any remarks to add. So Councilmember CO, you may begin.
No committee reports.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon.
The Zoning Board of Appeals met last week. We had a petitioner that was looking to put a garage in the front part of his property. It was not approved by the Zoning Board.
Councilmember Gearbaugh.
Planning will be meeting this Wednesday to discuss the special land use for the industrial property that we just recently sold. Looking forward to seeing how that comes through. Risk management met last week. We will have addressed some additional concerns and have talked to some individuals. That information is being summarized and will be presented to council regarding additional concerns that are in place right now.
Thank you. Councilmember Rice.
I don't have committee updates, but I do have two statements to make. I'm happy to wait until committee updates are completed, or I could do that now.
I think you can do that now. I'm not sure I have anything additional to add. And
you want to go first, Ms. Harmon?
Yeah.
You do your committee updates first.
Okay. I'm going to do my committee update, and I'm also going to follow up with a discussion item. So we have a Historic District Commission meeting on Thursday. I believe that is still moving forward. That'll be at 7 to 8 p.m. My additional discussion item, I just wanted to, I was not part of the city manager interviews, and I was made aware that you know, I had a family emergency. I just wanted to clarify that I was rear-ended in a roundabout on Bemis and Moon, so please be careful and don't follow too closely when it's raining. I wanted to make a statement because it's been really weighing on myself. I know it's been weighing on other folks that the city manager selection is a very important item, and I wanted to say that I really appreciate all the folks that were on the subcommittee, and I know that there was a lot of diligence that went into it, and I also know, I do believe that there's no nefariousness going on. What I will say is that I think it brings to light kind of a function that's needed or missing in the city, and it's more of a kind of a circling around of when there's not all the council members by definition in a subcommittee. We really need to have a better understanding of how to connect the dots in a quantifiable manner. So I have requested to the subcommittee and the consultant that we are provided a little bit better insight into the criteria of how it was weighted for the selection, how we were measuring. Significant is not really a measurement, like what does significant mean? How are we measuring it? How are we quantifying it? How is it being evaluated? And I would like to perhaps make a motion to have that provided at an upcoming city council meeting by the subcommittee and the consultant. And I also would propose that we reassess the criteria, given that we have gotten so much community feedback, and I have myself received a lot of community feedback that maybe we need to reassess, and maybe we do need to look at more options for folks with city manager experience, including acting city manager Cole, who has acted as city manager for the last 6 months. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Rice. Reports, announcements, or updates from boards, committees, commissions, or task forces?
No, just a couple of statements I'd like to make. And I thank everyone in the community for being here today, and I thank everyone for the emails and the phone calls and the texts and the conversations that we've had. I think that they're, you know, that's the best way for community to provide feedback, and it's the best way for council members to interact with the community. I want to start off by just stating that, you know, I take my position as city councilor very seriously. Integrity and transparency are at the core of how I approach this work. I do not make decisions lightly. I rely on expert advice, data, and thorough research to ensure that I have the best possible information before making any decision. Community feedback is also an important part of this process, and I truly value hearing from residents and business owners alike. However, it's just one piece of the larger picture. And while I respect and appreciate the input from our downtown business community, I truly do, it reflects just one aspect of consideration. My responsibility is to consider the needs of the entire city of Saline, and I stand by the decisions that I make in service of that broader duty. But what I do want to point out is that when one city councilor makes unsubstantiated and disparaging statements to the public, it's not only disruptive to the democratic process, it's also disruptive to the public trust, and I think that's where we are here today. We each have a responsibility to uphold the integrity of this body and to engage in respectful and fact-based dialogue that serves all the people of Saline. The only way to move our city forward is by focusing on the best job that we can, working collaboratively, respecting each other's commitment to this role. When questions arise, they should be asked in the appropriate manner and in the proper venue, not as public accusations, but as part of a constructive process aimed at understanding and problem solving. That is how we serve Saline best. To my second topic today, I want to make a statement. As a city councilor, I want to acknowledge the upcoming protests that are planned in our community and in surrounding communities. The right to protest is a cornerstone of our democracy, and I fully support the rights of individuals to make their voices heard on the issues that matter to them. I urge everyone participating to remain peaceful, respectful, and mindful of the broader community. Protests must never come at the expense of safety or destruction of property. We can disagree, we can speak passionately, and we can call for change, but we must do so in a way that upholds the dignity of all people and the laws that protect our shared spaces. I also want to be very clear. What we've seen in California and in other parts of this country, the violent suppression of protests, unconstitutional actions by local governments, and the targeting of individuals for expressing their beliefs is deeply troubling. These actions are not only unjust, They are illegal. We must reject those tactics outright. In Saline, we will not meet free speech with force. We will protect the rights of all people to gather, to speak, and to demonstrate peacefully as guaranteed by the Constitution. This is a moment that calls for both courage and care, for standing firm in our principles while holding space for respectful discourse. That's the kind of community that I believe we are and the kind of leadership that I'm committed to providing. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. If there are no additional reports, announcements, or community updates at this time, the chair would entertain a motion to convene into closed session. The motion is the city attorney requests a closed session pursuant to MCL 15.2681H and MCL 15.2681C to review an attorney-client privilege memorandums exempt from disclosure pursuant to MCL 15.2431G, as well as potential action regarding closed session items. Is there a motion to convene then at 7:35? I'll let Mayor Pro Tem Dillon be the mover, and CO, you want to be the second?
Yes, sir.
Very good. I'd ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilmember Dearborn?
Yes.
Councilmember Seal?
Yes.
Councilmember Rice?
Yes.
Councilmember Harmount?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Morrow?
Yes, we are convened into closed session at 7:36, and we will reconvene at the conclusion of our closed session.
Giselle coming back?
Okay, no, she left. I believe she left anyways. Clerk Royal, are you good? Okay. Then the chair would be delighted to entertain a motion to reconvene into regular session at 10:23 p.m.
So moved.
Moved by CO. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Dillon. Again, the clerk will please call the roll.
Councilmember Gearba?
Yes.
Councilmember Seal?
Yes.
Councilmember Rice?
Yes.
Councilmember Harmel?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Morrow?
Yes, we are reconvened into regular session at 10:23 p.m. Is there any additional business to come before Saline City Council this evening? Record reflect there is none. We come then to the second public comment period. Under the Open Meetings Act, any person may come forward at this time, make comment or question to City Council. This public comment period will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Anyone who would like to speak is requested, but of course not required to state their name and address for the record. Any citizen comments?
Yep, Tran Longmore, 325 North Lewis. Two things. One thing, didn't the agenda say something about a resolution, fire resolution?
It did that. We are not taking action on that item this week. I would anticipate action either at our next meeting or first meeting in July.
Okay, and then the second thing is, I'm trying to remember who was talking about the need for, or actually it was my own tweet. Yeah, I just hope to encourage you, I don't know what's going on, you guys know. Whatever's going on with the city manager search, it's gotta be, we gotta see whatever happens next come out transparently. We need to see it. You guys can, everybody can have their own opinion about somebody's job performance or whatever, but the process has to start taking place in public because we don't know what's going on. The last we heard was weeks ago when the decision might be made, and now everybody's in the dark, and I don't think anybody's well served by that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional citizen comments? And again, you can discuss anything that is on your mind, but you will be limited to 3 minutes.
Mayor Wagner, 790 Lampkins. So I wasn't here for the beginning of the meeting. However, about the dam, as far as Spicer Group being accepted as the one who's going to do some repairs on it, I know they were, they basically wanted to get the assessment done and the report. However, wouldn't it go out to bid if they had additional work to be done on it that's in between time? Was that something that was worked into the contract, or were they always going to be doing that work? Just out of curiosity, and also to report there is a giant trunk hovering over the dam. I sent an email about it. I'm not sure if it makes anyone else nervous, but I don't know what it's going to do if it falls down, so is that going to be taken care of?
Thanks. Thanks, Mary. Let me get all the comments tonight, and I can respond. I can respond substantively, I think, to both of your points. But let me provide an opportunity, or let council provide an opportunity for some additional comments.
Hello, good evening. I'm sure you guys have just had a really long meeting, so I apologize for this, but in regards to Councilwoman Rice's statement earlier that the downtown is only one component, I need to say the following. First of all, several of the people who signed the letter I read earlier are outside of downtown. Secondly, saying that downtown is one aspect of this position is like saying that your heart is only one part of your body. It's true. However, the health of downtown is vital to the rest of the community. Trust is a fragile thing. It can easily be broken when you don't follow through on statements you've made and your actions don't follow what you say. When you make statements reducing the value of the people who run the businesses in this community or their opinions, that's also very hurtful. The values of integrity, transparency, trust building, resolving conflicts, creating solutions, and knowing so much about the issues that Saline faces, having worked with them daily, which are the things that Elle Cole has shown in her position, I'm sure those skills will translate across all platforms. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Any additional citizen comments? And again, you are able to address any topic of your choosing.
Tremaine Hall, 189 Circle Court. I wanted to talk, I don't think I need to say any more, repeat any of the things already said about Elle and about the city manager search. But what I do want to say is I'm incredibly disappointed as a citizen, as a city employee, and as someone who values honesty, transparency, and fairness, because when I Google Saline, and particularly scandals, those things pop up because of decisions that have been made by people sitting here. And so I want you guys to remember that the choices that y'all make reflect on all of us. And it's really disappointing to me also that we find ourselves a year later, not even 2 years later, in a situation to where the integrity of our city council has been questioned. And so I want to remind you of something that I've been taught since I was a child, that when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. This is the second time. And I don't think I'm liking what I'm starting to believe about this body. So please, 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 please do the right thing and restore not just mine, but the rest of this community's faith and you guys' ability to advocate for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional citizen comments?
I was actually going to say a whole lot more, but he actually just said everything that I was going to say. And I have to say that I wholeheartedly agree with what he said. The words integrity and transparency have been thrown around a lot this evening, gone into this evening. And I think everyone up here has already said it once, not just in here, but Nicole also said it, that the integrity of this office has now been put into question. And I would like everyone to really look and see what has been reflected back upon you from the comments from the community, because it's something that is being talked about and is being reflected upon by everyone. And I think it's something that you should all think about. Thank you.
Any additional citizen comments this evening? Clerk Royal, did you receive any written comments in advance of tonight's meeting in which the individual wanted their remarks read at this time?
Yes, sir.
Let me say just a few very brief things. There will be clarity on the city manager hiring process in the very near future, and we appreciate everybody who's reached out to us to provide comment, questions, and to articulate concerns. In particular, we appreciate those who watched or attended our public interviews, our public open house, the council members and staff who participated in the community tours, and the department heads who participated in our mock department head meetings with our prospective candidates. Those were very enlightening. Let me just say a couple things. It's clear that the seven of us on this dais don't always agree, and there have been times where I have questioned the judgment and the priorities of my colleagues. But I'm really proud to say that I've never questioned their integrity or their motives, and I think that's what the thrust of this is really about. If you want to disagree with us on a policy position, that's fine. If you want to disagree with us on a matter of judgment, I think that's perfectly appropriate. But to impugn integrity and character, I think is a little bit beyond the pale, in my judgment. Mary, to your comments, I think the support material for the action item this evening on the dam that is uploaded on Documents on Demand will address most of your questions. If you cannot find it, please email my office or shoot me a text or give me a buzz tomorrow. I would be delighted to provide it to you. And we actually talked about the large log in the dam earlier this evening, and staff will be reporting back to us on that in the coming days. Hopefully we'll get that resolved in the not too distant future. If there's nothing further to be shared this evening, the chair would be delighted to entertain a motion to adjourn this regular meeting at 10:32 p.m.
So moved.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Dillon. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by CO. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.